Hey, what's up, guys? It is the IT Collector, your buddy, your pal, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my sports passions, which is UFC. And because I'm a collector of action figures and all kinds of other stuff, props, and other collectibles, I had to collect the action figures that they made for the UFC. So I'm starting out actually with some of the older ones. As you can tell, I got into the mood here. Of course, no one dresses like this anymore, but hey, I got to get into character. So first things first, we're going to talk about today Anderson Silva. So this is one of an older packaging and action figure that there is that's made by Jakks Pacific. I don't think they have the license anymore. They do. They just came out. I gotta see which brand came out with a new line of UFC figures. They're a little bit smaller and they're a lot more of the current characters. Jakks Pacific did a lot of the fighters from the last 20 years, let's say. And of course, Anderson Silva being one of the most important, if not the greatest of all time. Debatable, of course. Some people will say it's John Jones. Some people will say it's GSP. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're watching the wrong video. But either way, this is pretty awesome. As you can tell, I'm excited to show you the details on this guy right here. So I'm actually not going to take him out of the pack because there's just not too much to this figure, but I will give you nice close-ups and talk a little bit more about the packaging and compare it to the others. So Anderson Silva, I already went over several of his accomplishments. So let's talk about the actual action figure. Hopefully I don't have enough glare or that much glare here, but if you look closely, it does have some likeness to him. The only thing is it's not the greatest. It's not bad for Jakks Pacific. I mean, these are really good action figures, like to actually play with. In one of my other reviews, I opened up one of these same series, Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell, and you can see how much articulation these guys have. But just to go over it, his head does move, his torso goes up and down. He has all the joints that you would think, the shoulders, the elbows, even the wrist, of course his hips, knees, and even his ankle. They have articulation as well. So it's very well done. It's pretty cool. And just like you saw in the other video, they are all about a little under 8 inches high. And just to compare, this is the new series here, and John Jones is only about 7 inches, so it's about an inch different. So 6.5, 7 inches. So it's kind of a big difference. They won't display very well next to each other, but I don't know. It's a different brand, different everything. So what can you do? Maybe they're gonna come out with maybe this new brand here will come out with the old school fighters like Anderson Silva and re-release, but most likely not, especially if there's not too much of a demand pent up for these guys. And so yeah, so that's basically how this figure compares to these new ones. And then if you check the back, you can see that it has stats on the spider, who's obviously Anderson Silva, that's his nickname, where he's from, his weight, and where he fights out of, height and weight. And then you can see the other part of Series 1, which is pretty cool. Chuck Liddell, Anderson Silva, which I have a review on Chuck Liddell. Forrest Griffin, Michael Bisping, Czech Congo, Mike Swick, Evan Tanner, and Kelvin Randleman. So as you can tell, a lot of these guys are from the early UFC, since this is Series 1. And of course, Anderson Silva was a big part of the beginning, or the older years of UFC starting up. So there you go. So there you go. There's a closer look at Anderson Silva action figure. And this is the older line and license by Jakks Pacific. I hope you enjoyed this review, and please subscribe, because if you like UFC action figures, I'll be uploading more videos coming soon, especially focusing on the newer line that's out, that came out in 2020. So I'll talk a little bit more about those and kind of show you the old school ones as well. But also, if you check out my channel, you'll see that I collect all types of stuff from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and that includes anything from Star Wars to Marvels to Back to the Future, Terminator, Predator, all that good stuff in between. So make sure you subscribe and check all that cool stuff out. Till then, enjoy.